It feels like there's been this shift in consideration towards my demographic over the last, I don't know, decade or so, and I'm not really sure how to process it. Now, I'm well aware that baby boomers and Gen Xers are built differently. There's zero doubt in my mind. I also know that we at this age have a lot more fight in us than our previous generations did. Previous generations, even especially the silent generation, they were retiring at this age and really, kind of winding down their life. But we aren't close to being ready to fade away. So many of us have a lot left that we want to accomplish. And lately, I've been feeling like I almost have to apologize for who I am. And it's a really weird feeling. And what I've accomplished and how I got to where I am. It feels like our entire generation is hiding from decades of accomplishment. Does anybody feel that way besides me? Now, my problem is that most of what I'm feeling awkward about, I can't even change. So I'm hoping that if you stumbled across this video because of a search that you did, I'm hoping you feel the same way, because I believe that we need each other more than ever. And it's not that I'm looking to defend myself or build up some kind of uprising, but I believe we need to really understand how to navigate these waters. Now, let me start off with a backstory, because I think it's important to understand all of that. Now, I was dropped into this XY chromosome meat suit in North Jersey in the summer of 1961. And I was born into a first generation Italian American family. And I was number 4 of 6 kids. We were raised Catholic. Now, understand that none of that was by choice, but I bring that all up because all of that influenced who I became over the next 3 decades. And I'm not really even sure if I picked out this specific 100-year experience while I was behind the curtain shopping for the meat suit. But here I am, right? I am living in this, and I'm growing up as that. And it was the hand that I was dealt, and I'm not apologetic about it. And I was ingrained with a Depression-era work ethic that was modeled by my father and my grandfather, who taught me that the American gravy train isn't free, but it does have plenty to offer. And they impressed upon me that hard work leads to winning. That's what I was taught by them. I was taught that achieving wasn't the enemy. It's what you do with it and how you treat others on the way up. That's what matters. That's what they taught me. So as I became a young man and I was entering the workforce, I was professionally developed by previous generations who at that time were more concerned about my output than my feelings. So I followed the playbook. I did what I was told. And I'm not saying that they were right in the way they treated people, but it just was what it was. And if you wanted success, you sucked it up. They called it the school of hard knocks. Bottom line is, it's what we knew, right? It was the environment that we were in. So, as you know, we didn't have participation trophies. We got our butts kicked out on the schoolyard, and when we got home, we were told to rub dirt on our scrapes and bruises. We got jobs. We were results focused. But today, it kind of feels like there's this negative connotation associated with achievement. I feel like I'm in a real life version of Revenge of the Nerds, but guys like us, we're the nerds, because somehow expecting competence and holding people accountable and pursuing success, it's gotten, I don't know, a little watered down. But I can't even imagine where I'd be if it wasn't for that mindset. And honestly, I got to tell you, I was destined for mediocrity had it not been for that kick ass and take names culture that I grew up in. And look, I want you to know I'm not complaining. I know the mindset is shifting and I'm good with that. But I also don't want to hide from what got me here. And I hope you kind of feel the same way. Because I think it's important that we recognize that. Now, I do want to explain to you that what I am, what I just shared with you, cannot be changed. No more than being able to unbruise a banana. And by the way, a lot of people like bruised bananas. So it becomes a question of where do we go from here? Who do we need to become after all that we've been through? What I can tell you is this. If you want to feel recognized, if you want to be seen, if you want to be heard, we have to be adaptable because transformation requires it, requires being adaptable. I also know that because our minds are still fully functioning, we have to be in learning mode, particularly if we want to be relevant. We have to learn. We have to know what's new and innovative. We still need to pursue our potential, but it can't be at the expense of others. And surely, without a doubt, we've got to leverage our millions of reference points for anyone of any age, any background, whatever, who thinks that what you've created might actually be beneficial to their journey. And me personally, I'm trying to combine what I am and who I am into this powerhouse generator of why I am. That's what I'm trying to understand more and more today. So at 65 years old, what I can tell you is I am more focused on my health and fitness than ever before. And it feels good. And we're going to talk about it on this channel. I've got this young, hungry team who's growing in their careers and they're looking for some sage advice. And I have some. I've built a really nice nest egg despite years of being broke and undisciplined with money. I finally got that figured out and I feel good about that. I have this belief that I shouldn't do anything to other people that they can't experience well. And that's something that I'm definitely exploring, is how my outward experiences are impacting other people. I'm on my second marriage, but it's beaten the odds. We're gonna be married 30 years this summer, and I'm super proud of that. I've developed a relationship with God that is significantly more meaningful than that ritualistic Catholicism that I was brought up on. And it's not that I reject Catholicism, but there's this different relationship that I'm digging. I love to think, I love to write, I love to read, I love to read the Bible. My kids are pursuing their dreams and purpose, and they're doing it way better than I ever did at their age. And quite honestly, I'm having fun, and I'm told that I'm not as wound so tightly as I used to be. So here's what I know, and we'll kind of wrap this up for you. This generation, our generation, we have so much to be proud of, even if it came with some tough lessons and some misaligned mentors. But we've got to learn, and we've got to learn now to be adaptive. Because what's happening now, the shift, we can't resent it, we can't resist it, and we shouldn't shrink because of it. We're fighters, but we're also learners. And I do know this, we aren't winding down. We are compounding on the principal and interest rates of 50 plus years of investing in ourselves. So welcome to the channel, welcome to the reset and your next chapter. I'm ArnieCAP. Thanks for watching. Thanks for sharing.